Welcome to episode 77 of the Ben Briggs podcast. I am Ben Briggs. It's Tuesday, people. Tuesday, 28th of January, 2020. And I'm in a chipper mood. I hope your week's going well, people. I hope your working week is going quick. You're looking forward to the weekend, just getting over the last weekend. Tuesday's a bit of a shitty day, really. I always used to find Tuesdays, you got one day down. You're on the second day of the week, and 3 to go. Assuming you work conventional hours. Hey, don't assume anything about us, Ben. I know, people. But I'm in a bit of chipper mood, as they say. I've got a week to go, people, until I'm on holiday. Well, sort of holiday. I'm going to be in New York doing a few gigs, and but traveling, therefore. So I've got a week to go. A week today. This time next week, you'll be coming live from New York. Drinking coffee. And, so I'm on a bit of a countdown. I'm still in, I'm in a little bit of getting away mode, you know. Starting to pack a few bits up. Started getting ready, washing all the shit I need to wash to take with me. There's a lot of preparation. People, you don't understand this. You do understand. You've been away before. But I've been to New York before, he says, not being able to say the name of the place. I went a few years ago and really enjoyed it. I really like the sort of like vibe of it. It seems quite safe. I know the murder rate over there is meant to be horrendous, but not as bad as it was, I think. Not that that's something I'm going for, people, the murder rate over there. But it seems quite safe. There always seems to be some sort of copper on some end of the road or at an intersection or something like that. So it seems quite safe that way. It's kind of like it feels kind of like a little bit of a theme park, and everything's around. Everything's quite close together because it's not that big. The last time I went, I did all the touristy shit. You know, the Empire State Building, the fucking 9/11 museum, which is, you've never been there. It's fucking horrendous. But, I mean, it's fucking fascinating. But also, there's a deathly air about it. There's going to be, 3,000 people died there. But yeah, some of the things, like where the footprints of of where the towers stood, and they've got the names of the people who died in those towers around, and then you see sort of like a white rose just inserted into one of the names. And then you find out that that's that particular day that you're there, that's their birthday. You're like, oh, fucking hell, man. It's a bit brutal. People taking photos and shit like that. I never understand that, by the way. For memorial, sort of like museums and stuff. Like when people go to Auschwitz and take fucking photos there. I know there's the famous, whatever it says, Arbeit Macht Frau, is it? Or something like that. Is it something like that? Work will set you free. By Mac Frau. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Or Mac Fry or something like that. I don't know. It's sponsored by. But anyway, when you go to places like that and people are having their photos taken and shit like that, I don't know, man. There's just something weird about that. You know, particularly like the 9/11 thing, when you're seeing a squashed, fire truck, or people's wallets and shit, or like ID cards and stuff that they found, slightly charred, and that's kind of all they found of the person, and you just think, oh man, it's fucking brutal. It is a brutal experience going there. So I'm not gonna go back and revisit what I've done before. I just wanted to have a look round at some other shit. You know what I mean? Maybe go over to Brooklyn, the Bronx, maybe through Harlem. Just have a little look round. I'm going to go to Central Park again, Strawberry Fields, which is outside the Dakota building where John Lennon was shot. So, and then just have a little look round. You know what I mean? Have a nosy, have a little bit of a gander, as they say. So if you've got any little gems, a few people have told me about places to go. There's the High Line, I think. It's like an old disused sort of like rail track that people have from the neighbourhoods and that sort of thing where you can just get on basically. It's almost like the high rise sort of like rail tracks, I think. Not that I know too much, that are in Chicago. When we went to Chicago, they had the almost like raised above the road level, which you see in fucking films like Spider-Man and Batman and all those sort of things. So it'd be quite interesting to have a look at that. There's a few little bits, like fucking churches and shit I've been told about to go and have a look round. A few art galleries and stuff. Get a bit of culture this time, I think, rather than doing the touristy bits. Maybe sort of like just have a little look round in the day, have a bit of culture, do a bit of shopping, just enjoy myself while I'm just bumming around waiting for the fucking gigs to start, really. I'm getting to the stage where I'm all excited a little bit, double checking everything, making a list, checking it twice. I'm like Father Christmas at the minute, making lists of shit I need to take with me. I need to take this stuff as well, because obviously I fly out next Tuesday and I get there about midday Tuesday, I think. My flight's about 8 o'clock next Tuesday morning from the UK, because of the time difference and shit like that. I get there at I think it's about an 8-hour flight. And he says snorting. I don't know why I snorted then, by the way. Let's have a bit of tea. Hang on. I might be drying up a little bit. But yeah. So I'm going to be, flying out about 8 o'clock. I get there about midday. So by the time I get to the hotel and shit, what I'm planning on doing is fucking trying to stay up the night before. I've got a gig the night before I go. Stay up so I can drive down to Heathrow, a couple of hours down to there, park up the car in the parking, get through security and all that sort of shit, and then I've got a lounge, like one of the lounges that you pay for, that I would thoroughly fucking recommend, by the way. Paying for an airport lounge so you don't have to sit with the herds and the masses. It's about 30 quid. And you get 3 hours in there, you get food, you get drink and all that sort of shit. And it's just nice having some sort of base where you can sit down and just relax and chill out without having to hunt round for a fucking seat with everybody else. So I've got that. Got a bit of extra leg room on the old plane, just to give the hernia a bit of relief as I'm flying over there, baby. And yeah, so when I get there, I might be a bit knackered, but I'll get the podcast out that day and update you of my travel experience with fucking Virgin Airways. Which, hey, what are those, those airport meals, airplane meals? What's that all about? It's not going to be material about that, by the way, that I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be walking through the airport making notes of, hey, this'll be relatable on stage. Hey, what's all that metal detector shit? Hey, you still have to take your shoes off. What's all that about? It's terrorism, mate. Terrorism. You have to do that now. Yeah, but what's all that? It's just terrorism, mate. Like somebody tried to blow up a plane with their fucking with a bomb in their shoe. So now you have to take your shoes off. One person did that, by the way. It's always just one person did that, and now the rest of us, for eternity, as far as I can make out, Richard Reed, the shoe bomber. That was the guy, wasn't it? Wasn't it Richard Reed, the shoe bomber? I don't know. I think it's him. I can see him now in his orange jumpsuit that he was wearing. Not to board the plane, obviously. That'd make it far too obvious. But the rest of us have to suffer now, don't we? Here he goes. This could be the rant. This could be the thing that propels me to the next level of stand-up. This material about, hey hey guys, why do we have to take our shoes off? What's all that about? No, I won't be doing that. But it'll be interesting to see how some of the newer material goes across to the old Yanks. Are we allowed to call them that? I don't know. But we'll see how that goes over. See if we can get away with some of the dark shit out there. I imagine so. They've got enough dark comedians out there, haven't they? People trying to push a few boundaries and shit like that in the States. Anthony Jeselnik and the likes of, like the greats, Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr and people like that. And CK when he wasn't, when he was still performing. So we'll see. Not that I put myself amongst those people, but, everybody's trying to do what they do, aren't they? We'll see how that goes over. It's just like, starting, the remnants of just starting to get excited about it now. Less than a week to go. A week today, I'll be there. So, enjoy the fucking food out there as well. The food's fucking amazing. Right next to the hotel I'm staying next to, there's a fucking diner that does this. I don't know what it was. It was like fried bread with fucking cinnamon fucking sauce on it with like almost like crispy fucking crunchy nut cornflakes like embedded into the bread, and it was just, oh man, you can see why the Americans have a sort of like, one of the most obese nations in the world, because their food is fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal, people. The shit they put together is just, you wouldn't think it would work, but it does. And it's all sweet. It's all high in calories. So I'm going to be bulking up. And then obviously I'm back for 2 days after that, and then I have my operation done. So I'm going to be bulking up before the operation, and that should see me through my recovery time. I'll be like one of these like fucking killer whales or whales in the sea, or a penguin feeding its young, just living off my own fat reserves on my sofa, just slobbing out. That's what I need. I need everything to hand. I'm going to set everything out in those 2 days when I'm back, get everything to hand, go for a big shop so I've got enough food in, lock the door, and I ain't going out. That's it. It's recovery time only. God knows when I've got gigs after that, but I'll sort those out as and when they come by. It's been a bit quiet last week on the old gig front. I'm back on it again this weekend. I was meant to have gigs last weekend, but they're fucking cancelled. The old, hey man, I'm sorry. Like, you can always tell when a gig's not going to happen. Like, if they haven't let you know about it or sent through the details for the gig, like about a night, the day before or 2 days before, it's probably not going to happen. And I just thought, oh no, I'll give this geezer the benefit of the doubt of the weekend and that. And sorry, I thought I'd let everybody know. There's 3 fucking acts on, son. You know what I mean? There's 3 acts on. You've got 3 people to notify. Never mind. He sorted us out a bit of cash anyway. But it's just the thing where you could get, you leave it too late and then you can't get another fucking gig to replace it. So you have to go without because of the immense amount of comedians that are out there these days. But talking about New York, from New York, live from New York, not yet, from New York to New Year. It's fucking, here we go, people. Chinese New Year, innit? I have no real idea what it's about. I know it's something to do with the little animals and that. They've got 12 little animals, haven't they? It's a bit like the horoscopes, is it? I don't know. Somebody can inform me. A white Englishman you can inform me about being a white Englishman, learning about Chinese New Year. I have very little knowledge of it. I had to look at my own. It's not a massive thing in the UK. I know everybody. Like in Chinatown, in London, and Chinatown in every place and city and stuff like that, it's going to be a biggie. Yeah, I imagine it's quite big in China. But in the UK, it's not massively. I know. I know. The fucking supermarkets and that sort of thing advertise it, don't they? Let's have a bit of tea. Hang on. The supermarkets and they advertise it, don't they? In a cynical, we'll be able to sell more Chinese meals type of a way. That's basically why they do it, isn't it? That's why they do Diwali. That's why they do Christmas, isn't it? All of those celebrations, the supermarkets just think, hang on, we can roll over from Christmas and New Year into the Chinese New Year, and then the next one that's coming up, and then roll over till Easter, and then Eid, and then and then everything. Not that it's a bad thing. We're a multicultural society in England, aren't we? So I didn't know a lot about it, like Chinese New Year. So, Benny fucking got his like little learning head on a little bit. And it's to do with the Lunar New Year, isn't it? Like when the first new moon of the new year, isn't it? We live by the Gregorian calendar. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Gregorian. That's it, isn't it? Why can't I say that? Gregorian calendar, don't we? Whereas it's like a Lunar New Year, isn't it? So their dates change each year. It's between sort of like January and February, apparently. And it's pretty much like the horoscopes. You get all that shit with it as well, don't you? Like, depending on what year you're born in, under what sign, under what sort of like animal, and then that's split into earth elements as well. That's where it gets confusing, I think. So you can be, like for me, for instance, born 77, which the new year is 1976, but I think it goes past February that year. So that 76 was the year of the dragon, and 1976 was the element of fire. I didn't know anything about this. You get wood, fire, earth, and metal. That's what you get. It's like all the, well, it's all in the name, Ben, isn't it? All the elements, isn't it? So the next one of those is going to be 2036. So, because it goes in cycles or whatever, I don't know. So it must go in cycles from sort of like every 12 years is like the same animal or whatever. And then every 4 times that happens, it must change between wood, fire, earth, and metal. That must be the thing. Every 60 years. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, that works out. Yeah. Just doing a few calculations. That's get me toes out there, people. Yeah, so like mine is like fire is the element and I'm the dragon, which is pretty much the coolest, I think, isn't it? Out of all the animals. What are the other ones? Let's have a look. Chinese New Year animals. Let's have a look at this. Chinese New Year 2020. Oh, shit. No. So you got the rat. That's shit, innit? Nobody wants to be the rat, do they? The ox. Nobody really wants to be that, do they? Tiger. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool animal. The rabbit. Nobody wants to be that. Then you got the dragon, which is the 5th one. The snake, horse, goat, monkey. Nobody wants to. Nobody. And then the last 2, like you got the monkey, the rooster, and then the last 2, the dog and the pig. There ain't a lot in there for people. For the cool animals, you've got the tiger or the dragon. Like they're the only ones. And who wants to be a goat or a pig? Or a dog, or a rooster, or an ox, or a rat. Nobody wants to be any of those, do they? Horse, maybe. That's probably, you know, you go in tiger, you go in dragon, tiger, in that order. Then you go in horse, and the rest are diabolical, aren't they? So yeah, obviously Briggs come out with one of the coolest there. So this is what it's meant to be. So fire, and then the fortune is dragons. So this is the fortune they bring up for you. Fire dragons are intelligent and social. I'm not too sure about the social one. To be honest with you, you're out there going. I'm more not really convinced by the first one either, Ben. This is bullshit then. They have a breakthrough in the middle years. Here we go. Hitting his 40s is coming and enjoy prosperity later in life. It says, that wasn't bad reading, by the way. It says, and enjoy prosperous later in life. Prosperity, obviously. Here it is. Bring it on. I am ready for that prosperity right now. I tell you. Bring it on. 43 next birthday. Let's bring this shit on. So that's it. So that's happened, the old Chinese New Year. There was a few fireworks going off for the weekend and shit. I just thought it may still be a gunshot. A little bit more gun crime happening in Briggs Towers, where it's situated. So that's happened. That was quite interesting finding out about that, though. It is essentially like the old horoscopes, isn't it? They give you a little fortune of... Here we go. Men born in the year of the dragon are steadfast in their beliefs. They will never slack off on responsibilities, nor be unnecessarily suspicious. I don't know. As you're doing this, my responsibilities are to get this podcast out on time. This is out on time today, but it hasn't been. We all know that. Nor are they unnecessarily suspicious. As this podcast is happening, there is a geezer parked up in a car opposite opposite Briggs Towers. That car has been out there for 2.5 hours and the engine has been running. Now, either the geezer has committed suicide or either way, I'm suspicious about it. I'm not sure how much the Chinese know. Thanks for the gunpowder, guys. But I'm not too sure you know too much about this. People rarely lose trust in this honest men. It says honest person, I would have thought. They don't waste money. This is totally, I was born in the wrong year. They don't waste money. I literally today bought a Pac-Man table lamp. That's what I've done today. A Pac-Man table lamp, people. But also don't pay much attention to it. I have just paid too much attention to the amount of money I've wasted today. Adventurous entrepreneurs at heart, they dream of shooting to fame. Well, finally. And this is what this podcast is going to do for me. It's going to propel me into the upper echelons of stand-up comedy. I don't know. Sometimes their efforts go to waste, though. Here we go. There's the reality check. Literally in the next sentence. They dream of shooting to fame. You're fucking wasting your time, Ben. Literally in the next sentence. Still their lives revolve around work. Too right, people. Putting in the hours here. These men are completely fine alone. Oh, Jesus. They either marry at a young age or remain as a bachelor. Well, that's it then, innit? That's done for me, innit? I didn't get married at a young age. That's it. The Chinese people have spoken, all 1 billion of them. For significant others, they need someone that can help and support his career. Too fucking right sometimes. Women. Let's do a women dragons one as well. So we make it fucking even, just in case I decide to take the transition. Actually, this could all be the reason whether or not I decide to become a woman. Why did you? Have you always felt like a female trapped in a man's body, Ben? No, not at all. I just thought, I read the Chinese description of what my year was, year of the dragon, and it worked out better if I was a woman. Try going to a doctor and saying that. No, I've never felt like a woman. I just thought the odds are on for a better life if I become a woman. So chop the old chap off, baby, and get me a dress. Let's have a look what it says. Like, if I make the transition to being a woman. Women born in the dragon year are mesmerizing and strong. Fucking hell, this is a good start already. You go, girl, Ben. If you underestimate them, they will stand up and defeat you. Jesus Christ, these sound like fucking Xena warrior princess. These are some sort of Amazonian women. This could be it for me, people. They are serious in what they do and have high self-esteems. Esteems, I love the plural of that. There's more than one self-esteem. Maybe there is. Who knows? Maybe this could be the Chinese proverb. The only thing they require of others is respect. RESPECT. Like the song says, feminism and gender equality are important to them. How come they get an updated one? There was nothing there about gender equality or fucking anything like that in mine. For men, many forego marriage to focus on their career, but if they do choose to marry, they also make great wives. Yeah! Get in that kitchen, baby. Get in that kitchen, you fucking dragon. Often they only go to the extremes and should take the time to consider a mixed balance. A balanced mix, even. That seems a lot better. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm not solely, unsold by the idea of becoming a woman. It seems if I became a Chinese woman, I would probably be more successful at stand-up. Ah, dear. We could make the transition, start making the transition now. Let's not adopt the accent. That's one thing I've noticed with anything Chinese to particular parts of the English public, and they cannot help themselves but do a Chinese accent. Let's have a look. I am most compatible with a rooster, a monkey, or a rat. Now, I don't know whether that is just the animals, or or dragons are most compatible with roosters. The rooster will look up to the dragon and provide genuine support. That's what I need, people. I need somebody to look up to me. That's it. I don't know. I think we've least compatible with dogs, rabbits. Fucking right, dogs. After the other episode with my mate's dog trying to either fuck me or attack me. Rabbits. We had a rabbit when I was a kid. That tried to fucking bite me as well. And dragons. We never had any dragons. Lucky things for dragons. Gold, silver. No shit. No shit. Gold's purely lucky for everybody, isn't it? The numbers 1, 6, and 7. Mineral, rose, quartz. Directions of auspiciousness. Southwest. I don't know what means. Directions of wealth, north, west, and north, and directions of love, west. Interesting. Unlucky things, colours, white. Fucking hell. I am white. No shit. In some quarters. How can you say an unlucky thing is white when you're a white guy sitting there? Dear. People born in the year of the dragon have quick-paced thinking. They excel at activities that most find mentally exhausting. Because of this, they are suitable for engaging careers. Some fields include the arts, politics, and education. That's what this is all about, people. This is what you get on this podcast. You get arts, you get politics, and education. They may feel insecure and decisive when working alone. Hey, don't we all? Don't we all? That's the Chinese New Year, people. I hope you have a good Chinese New Year. I think the celebrations go on for about 2 weeks, don't they? That's a hell of a hangover, baby. What else have I done this week? What are we on? 28 minutes, Jesus. I have watched the Margaret Fleming documentary, BBC Two, as recommended by Big Johnny P, John Pearson, comedian. We seem to have hey man, you got to watch this shit. This is fucking unbelievable. Watch that shit, baby. It's about some woman who went missing for 19 years, and it turned out that a carer's fucking burnt her in the garden, and basically were living off her benefits for about 20 years. Lovely. I also watched that. It's fucking fascinating, and made a lot more sinister by the fact it happened in Scotland, and everybody involved has a Scottish accent. It just felt like an episode of Taggart. Everyone. There's 3 different episodes on there, all about an hour. Give it a watch on there. It's on BBC iPlayer. Also, I watched the Gail Porter documentary as well. Only because once I had a weird experience with Gail Porter in a lift. Now, not overly fucking weird. It wasn't like she was fucking pouncing on me or anything like that. I'll tell you when it was. Sorry, I was having a bit of tea there. I'll tell you when it was. It was the first time I went up to the Edinburgh Festival. I think it must have been about 2008. It's when I just started stand-up, and I think it was the first year I went, and I stayed at a nice hotel for the weekend, and I was waiting for the lift to come down, and waiting for the lift to come down, and some woman stood right next to me, and then immediately the doors opened, and Gail Porter was in there, who's like used to be a celebrity fucking. She used to be on Top of the Pops and shit like that. She used to run that presenter, like a TV presenter. She was in there and said to this woman who was standing next to me, "Oh, hi," and they hugged and shit like that. "How are you doing?" All right. And I walked in just after the woman, and then Gail Porter turned around and went, "Okay, oh, right, who's this then?" And then pointed at me, and I was like, "I'm not anybody," you know what I mean? I'm not. That's all I said. I was just like, I'm not anybody. It was kind of fucking awkward. And then to make it even more fucking awkward, she put a hand on my shoulder and said, "Nobody, everybody's somebody, nobody's nobody," like that. And it was just the most, man, it was the most brutal, cringeworthy thing. And then the lift doors shut, and we were just all in this lift together. And it was the most painful lift experience I've ever had in my life. I was just like, you didn't need to say that, sweet. I just stood there sort of like, oh, God, I want this lift journey to be over as soon as possible. It was one of the most cringeworthy fucking experiences I've ever had. I was fucking around, sweetheart. You know what I mean? I was just fucking around. I was trying to make it an easy... After you thinking I was with that woman, I was trying to make it, I'm nobody. I'm just like, that sort of thing. And then she got really serious, and I was like, ugh. And then obviously watching the documentary, she was a bit, at that time, she was a little bit, going through her own mental health problems. So she probably thought she was, I don't know, doing something nice about reaching out to somebody and, hey, you can be somebody too, baby. You're going to be big time. And it just made it so much more fucking painful. Couldn't believe it, man. So painful. Anyway, that was my Gail Porter story. But it's quite an interesting documentary how she goes through her mental health. And then obviously she lost her hair, like from being a kids TV presenter, I think. And then went onto Top of the Pops and then got married. And then that all went to shit. And then like she lost her hair through alopecia and stuff. And then it's like trying to bring back from the old mental health issues. Everybody's got it, baby. But yeah, it was quite an interesting documentary. If you're not from the UK, watch it anyway. That's on BBC iPlayer as well. If you can get it, people, who fucking knows whether you can get that or not. What are we on? 33 minutes. Jesus, I've been fucking sounding off about fucking Chinese New Year a bit, and I'm enjoying that. This could be it. This could be the... I might be going into my glory period here, people. Halfway through life. Let's have a look at the headlines. This is a fucking great story. Furious teacher punches his student in the face in retaliation for being told he had a moustache like a paedophile. Here we go, people. Teachers are out there. They're fighting back now. A New Zealand teacher punched a student after being taunted about his moustache. The student repeatedly told the teacher he had a moustache like a paedophile. Teacher is now being mentored and is mentored. A teacher punched a student in the face after taunting him having The 13-year-old boy had been sitting on the sidelines watching the teacher play social rugby at 7:30 p.m. on February the 7th, 2018, 2 years ago, when he made the comment, "Jesus, is this just broken because it's just gone to court?" Student pointed his cheek and said, here we go. The New Zealand teacher whose name been suppressed, walked over to the boy and asked him if he wanted a smack. The student pointed to his cheek and said, "Yes, right here." Don't tell me he did it. He fucking did as well. Look, the teacher then punched the student once with a closed fist on his right cheek. After the punching the student, the respondent initially walked away before walking back and saying, "You're not laughing now." Fair enough. The kid asked for it. Oh, fucking hell, that's glorious. Teachers fighting back. Earlier in the day, the student made another comment about the moustache. The teacher told the tribunal he was frustrated that he looked like a paedophile. He's definitely not a paedophile. That's what... he's done two things there. He's punched the student in the face and proved he's probably not a paedophile because he is a child batterer, but he's not a paedophile. Which is better? I imagine being a child batterer is better than a paedophile, isn't it? On the hierarchy of things, he had been taking the medication. Oh, God, here we go. The teacher told the tribunal he was frustrated the student and continued to give him cheek about his moustache. He had been taking medication to treat depression and anxiety. No shit. I bet that depression lifted as soon as he connected with that fucking right hook on that kid's cheek. Thanks. I feel a lot less anxious now. He said he felt the lorazepam he had been prescribed may have played into his behaviour. Ain't that right? Yeah. Maybe. Why doesn't he just turn around and go, he's a little shit and deserved a smack? He's not going to do it again, is he? I don't know, man. He must also disclose, where are we? We suggest that the respondent might benefit from further counselling. That's what he's got, counselling to manage his stress. But we do not direct any further counselling or anger management course. That's what the court said. He had to pay £3,397.52 in costs, dollars. New Zealand, this was. New Zealand. Fucking hell. Teachers fighting back. How do you manage that stress? What do? Start with kids like that and then go to smaller and smaller kids until you're just slapping one around the face or spitting at them to take it down? He started off by punching a 13-year-old boy in the face. He's nearly solved now. He's just spitting at 5-year-olds. He's almost cured. Fucking hell. That, people, is the end of episode 77. What a way to end it. On smacking a 13-year-old child in the face. We've all wanted to do that. Come on, people. Let's admit it. We've all wanted to do that at one time or other. That is episode 77, people. I will be back on Saturday. It'll be my last one in the UK for a week or so. If you want to send me any recommendations of where to go in New York, you can email me at podcast@benbriggs.co.uk or message the Ben Briggs Podcast Facebook page or what else? Twitter. At the Ben Briggs on Twitter. You can message me there. Have a good week, people. Don't go fucking hitting children. And I'll be back on Saturday, motherfuckers. Have a good week. Take care.